Over the past few months, we've had the pleasure of welcoming a variety of unique restaurants, both quick service restaurants and fast casual, to the Leaders in Customer Loyalty podcast. Today, we're revisiting a previous episode with a brand that continues to stand out. Being irreverent, passionate, and unique, while staying true to your brand and customers, is no easy feat. Finding an agency that can help shape and tell your story, your brand story, is equally challenging. The right agency needs the right team, the right approach, and true alignment with your brand's values. In this episode, we'll explore a particularly innovative approach, an agency powered by AI. This AI-driven strategy is not only helping Teriyaki Madness tell its story, but also guiding the brand through this economic uncertainty we're facing today. With over 200 stores, Teriyaki Madness is navigating headwinds currently seen in the restaurant, retail, hospitality, and convenience industries. Yet its focus on customer loyalty continues to thrive, and the customers of the program continue to engage with the brand in a very unique manner. We're excited to welcome back Jodi Boyce. She is the Chief Marketing Officer at Teriyaki Madness. Jodi, thank you for joining us today. How are you?
I'm great, thanks.
Good. First off, for those who may not know about Teriyaki Madness, can you give us a brief introduction to Teriyaki Madness? When the company started, kind of why it was launched, a little bit about the background would be great to know.
Absolutely. So, Teriyaki Madness is a fast casual restaurant brand. We serve huge bowls of fresh, marinated, and then grilled meats over rice or noodles. And then all our bowls come with fresh veggies. And the founders actually started it in 2003. They had gone to school in Seattle, and in Seattle, teriyaki is everywhere. It's like Chicago hot dogs and New York pizza. So it's all over. And then after school, they were living in Las Vegas and decided to bring teriyaki down to Vegas, and that's where they started. And then Michael, who's our CEO, bought the company in 2016, and that's why we are headquartered in Denver. And yeah, we are about to hit 200 locations in the next like couple weeks or a month.
Okay, great. Teriyaki Madness, a very unique name. What's the backstory there?
I mean, we kind of inherited it from the founders, but I mean, we love it because we always say we take our food seriously, but we don't take ourselves seriously, and so the madness kind of supports that. And yeah, we're passionate about it.
Okay. And when you look at the kind of the fast casual dining industry, very competitive right now. Hospitality is very important. We've had a number of restaurant fast casual QSR interviews recently, and just kind of the focus on hospitality is obviously growing. When you look at kind of how competitive the industry is, what makes Teriyaki Madness so successful?
I mean, for one, we're different, right? It's not pizza and sandwiches and burritos. So it is a different type of food, um, but it's really delicious food that happens to be healthy. So we never claim to be a health food brand by any means, but just the nature of grilled, fresh meats and the rices and everything, it just happens to be a healthier option. So that, for one, has really helped us stand out in the marketplace. We also have no national competitor. We
Okay.
have some regional ones, but in our specific space in fast casual, we don't have a direct competitor yet, which is why we're growing so fast. So yeah, I mean, first and foremost, everyone tells us it's the flavor of the food. It tastes really, really good, and it's something you can eat every day and not feel guilty.
Okay. Who is your core audience? Is it kind of people on the go, younger families? Who's your core audience, and how do you engage with them?
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty broad. It's pretty much male, female, 50-50 split, 24 to 54-year-olds. But like you said, yes, it is active working adults, usually with families, people on the go, people looking for, something probably a little bit healthier, but something that's going to fill them up and taste really good. And so we reach them through a whole bunch of different methods. Our loyalty program, which is very successful, our emails, social media, meta ads, CTV. We do some iHeartRadio, a lot of display ads. So trying to reach them in multiple ways.
Okay. When you look at your customer loyalty program, can you tell us a little bit about that? How it started, how it runs, what one of the benefits for being a member of the loyalty program?
Yeah, I mean, loyalty used to be something I think way back in the day that was kind of hard to prove out.
Yeah.
And we've been able to prove it over and over. And actually, we just had our quarter 3 review. And even though traffic is down in the industry and we have our traffic's down a little bit as well, our traffic's up with our loyalty guests. And so it's just proving again that it's really important. But we started it in 2017.
Okay.
And we originally, before that, we only had a database of 12,000 emails. And so we were just doing email marketing. We transferred that into a loyalty program, and now we have almost 1 million members. So it's grown. I mean, the benefit is that these are people who've signed up. They want to hear from you. And the ones that are loyal are really loyal, and it's a pretty captive audience.
Yeah, it's one of the things that we see in our member community. We meet with brands on a weekly basis. The members talk about different topics. We have peer groups, but even though traffic is down in restaurants a little bit, in convenience a little bit, in hospitality a little bit, the customer loyalty programs, those programs are doing exceptionally well of keeping customers, keeping them engaged. Obviously, traditionally, the frequency is going to be a little more, as we know, right? Because they have a
Yeah.
more emotional connection in theory with the brand. But it's we continue to hear from brands that we interview and members that the programs are really driving results in this somewhat challenging economic environment.
Yeah, for sure.
So your role, would love to know a little bit more about your current role, what you do and what led you to that position.
Yeah, so prior, I've been at Teriyaki Madness now 9 years, and so prior to this, I was at Smashburger, and we had done a lot of research at the time, just consumer research, not even specific necessarily to like burgers or anything. And so when I heard of Teriyaki Madness, I went and visited the shop. I tasted the food. I already had this research in the back of my head about what consumers were looking for in fast casual. And I pretty much just saw the potential. It was, the fresh ingredients, the high quality, the first and foremost, the taste was delicious. Huge portions, simple menu. The gluten-free and healthier options and all the things that Teriyaki Madness had was exactly what the research was telling us that consumers wanted. So saw the potential. It's a fun brand. The brand voice is irreverent and fun and edgy. And so I started when there was 30 restaurants and we're at almost 200 now. So yeah, it's been a fun ride.
That's awesome. When you look at kind of your role, what are some of the biggest obstacles and or challenges that you've faced, within the organization?
So we are 100% franchised. So that presents a challenge within itself. But we've also been extremely scrappy over the years. We've never been backed by, big investor groups or PE firms. So our budgets have only been what the royalties are of our shops. And when I started, we had 30 locations.
Wow.
And you can imagine how tiny that budget might be. So we had to be pretty scrappy from the beginning. And although, our budgets have grown enormously since, we're still scrappy because a lot of times we find that those are the tactics that work even better. Um, so yeah, although it's a challenge, it's been fun. It makes you think, and it makes you really selective on what type of marketing you do because you can't do everything. You can,
Well, that's an interesting
pick one.
discussion as well. When you look at marketing, kind of the franchisees have a marketing fund they have to contribute to, and then when you roll out a loyalty program, usually there may be some incremental charges with the program, which can be somewhat challenging. How did you navigate that? Obviously, now the program's doing very well. You can say, yeah. I told you it's going to do very well, so you must love it. Were there any challenges when you kind of rolled out the loyalty program to the franchisees?
Not as much with the shop owners. What we did is we added the app and online ordering first. So we
Okay.
partnered with Olo and Punch, But we only launched the app and online ordering because we knew that would be such a big shift for our franchisees to get used to. And it was like flipping a switch, with the amount of sales that they got. And then a year later, we rolled in loyalty. So we stair stepped it a little bit. Um, and we didn't really get any pushback. We used their tech fees to help pay for it, and the marketing fund. And then they pay for Olo, but it's based on how many orders you get. So over time, we've been able to prove over and over it pays for itself, tenfold.
And when you look at the growth during your tenure from 30 locations to almost 200 now, 200 soon, what do you think are some of the greatest achievements that you've been able to navigate? And also maybe what are some of the opportunities you see coming up?
I mean, tech has been a big achievement. I think one of the biggest differences of a marketing role, pre-COVID probably, or even before that, but usually marketing was just marketing and tech landed in IT.
Yeah.
Um, I don't know if it was just because of the times changing or because we were such a small company, but we wore a lot of hats. And so, being the CMO, I'm in charge of not just marketing, but kind of finding new revenue streams. And tech just happens to fall right into that now. So adding the app and online ordering and integrations with third-party delivery, and we have a curbside program that's tracks people through GPS so we can meet them on the curb. Um, so really, tech is probably the biggest difference of what it used to be, and we're pretty proud of it. We've embraced it as a brand, even as a small brand.
No, that's awesome. 'Cause oftentimes, again, in the kind of the meetings we have with our brands and some of the surveys we do throughout the year, having tech work for you versus having to work for tech can be a good challenge.
Mhm.
Many brands don't feel they have the organizational understanding of disparate technologies that can drive customer loyalty. So to be able to have kind of tech as something that is a benefit versus a challenge is great to hear.
Yeah.
So you've been in the restaurant industry for quite some time. How we talked about a little bit more. How's the fast casual space evolving?
Um, I mean, we've always talked about convenience, I think, in the restaurant industry, but prior to COVID, convenience was, something consumers wanted. Then the pandemic happened, and then consumers really demanded it. We had to have it because you had to have food in your hands quickly, and there wasn't dine-in service. So essentially, COVID trained consumers, a lot of people who had never used an app, had never used delivery or third-party
Yep.
delivery. We trained consumers on how to do it, and so we kind of created our own monster, and it snowballed from there. And so now convenience isn't just like a demand, it's greens fees. You have to have different ways to get food in people's hands. I think the biggest change today is because of inflation, because of everything that's happened in the industry over the last couple of years. Value isn't just a price point anymore. And so brands really have to offer something other than just a decently priced item. The high quality, we have huge portions. But we also need to give a really good customer experience, because I think consumers are just being a little tighter with their wallets, and they're going to spend it on the places where they feel good about spending it, and not where they're going to have a mediocre experience.
No, and I think you're right that the whole discussion around value is another topic that's quite front and center right now.
Yeah.
Especially with regard to kind of the economy. We had a peer group yesterday and talked about it, and many brands, a few of the brands, like some of the value we had put into these programs, we've had to tweak the value, right? So, but value also comes in different shapes and sizes right now. It can be customers value in the program, the brand's value in the program, the CMO, CFO, their value in the program,
Yeah.
and the organizational value that it brings. So it's very unique right now. But you talk about convenience being one. Convenience can be a great value. The speed that you can feed someone, the healthy fare that you have, the
Mhm.
customization. How are you looking at value holistically as a brand?
I think that's the exact word, is holistically. It has to be, it's not just one thing. We already have the huge portions. We've got quality ingredients. We have really good food and decent prices. I mean, we are not cheap by any means, but we're not the most expensive. but it's a good price value equation because it's a lot of high quality, healthy food
Yep.
for a reasonable price. And so I feel like the last piece of the puzzle that we just need to continue to improve and just nail every time is the experience. And you're relying on people to do that in a franchise system. So that's definitely a challenge, but something that we're constantly working on because again, if you don't have a good experience, you're probably not coming back.
Yeah, it's interesting. We had a discussion or a month ago, I think, with a gentleman that ran a company called Nukes. They're a small
Mhm.
company, East Coast based, 100 locations, and he mentioned we started talking about conversion and choice, right? I don't go to a ton of restaurants. I would definitely love this restaurant. We used to have a few of them in Cincinnati. We don't have them anymore, but Qdoba and a few others I go to. My wife likes to go to everything, right? So. But we started talking about choice and conversion, right? So you got to get them to try it that first time. And you mentioned making sure that the experience is spot on so you can convert them, right? So
Right.
getting them to make that choice with you and to choose you, but then getting them to convert can be a challenge, correct?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of options out there today. But yeah, I think kind of a rule of thumb that we've used in loyalty over the years is you need to get them in 3 times. But it's something like within 6 or 8 weeks that you need to get them in to get them locked. And so that's, a lot of pressure to give 3 really great experiences. The food has to be perfect. The order has to be, nothing missing in it. The customer service needs to be friendly or go above and beyond friendly and have something that stands out. So all the pieces need to be put in place to get those consumers to lock in on your brand.
Absolutely, absolutely. AI is another topic everyone's kind of concerned or focused on. It seems the acceleration to AI has gotten pretty quick here recently, with especially some of the executive organizations like Amazon and Target and others kind of laying off significant numbers of people. But AI is going to be something that brands are obviously laser focused on. I know. You recently launched your first AI generated ad campaign with the genre AI, which is the first for the fast casual restaurant space. What inspired this move, and how does it align with your broader brand strategy and growth strategy?
Yeah, so our company, we've always been a bit tech forward, especially for a brand our size, getting into loyalty and integrations with third party, in 2017, that was about 3-ish years before other brands really jumped on board. So we've always been tech forward. Our CEO he forwarded with no comment, he forwarded an article about genre AI, and it was an ad they had done for like a trading betting app.
Okay.
And I watched it and I was like, oh my God, this is AI. Like you really couldn't tell. Um, it was hilarious. The energy was crazy. And so a light bulb went off in my head because like I said, we are scrappy. Last year we did our first real ad with a full service agency, spent a big chunk of our budget to make the ad, and then another piece of the budget to run the ad. And we were a little bit disappointed. It just didn't turn out the way we fully wanted. We probably, had we had more dollars, we would have done a longer production. There was a lot of things in hindsight we would have done differently. So when this AI thing came up, I basically stopped genre AI. After this article came out, they were super busy, um, as you can imagine. And so I tracked them down, told them I wanted to work with them. They had the kind of personality and they have a lot of great writers, comedic writers over there, and just really fit our brand personality. And so we decided to move forward and create an over the top ad with them. Really leaned into the AI piece of it. Like we weren't trying to make it look completely real.
Yep.
And yeah, it was a lot of fun.
That's awesome. You talked about kind of the alignment between the agency and Teriyaki Madness. How does it work with these guys? Does AI create all of it? Is it kind of, they have like the agency talent, human talent that kind of helps craft some of it initially, and they leverage AI to kind of streamline the process? How does it work?
Yeah, I mean, we were super involved every step of the way. So, and it was quick. Like we did the whole thing, I think, in 8 weeks. And so we wrote the creative brief. We had discussion with them, talked through it. They do have professional writers on their staff, actually people that came from like sitcoms and writing comedy and movies and stuff. So they sent over a few script ideas based on our creative brief. We went back and forth. We helped create it with them. Then they sent over, the initial first rough cut, and we were able to, pinpoint, can you make this guy have long hair instead of short hair? Can you change? I mean, it was so quick. And so we would send over really specific, detailed changes. And within a day or two, we'd have another round. So it sped everything up, and it was a fraction of the cost. And so it allowed us to put a lot more of our dollars into actually running the ad versus just creating it.
That's awesome. Okay. So, what are you hoping to achieve with this campaign?
Our ultimate goal is to increase sales and traffic.
Yeah.
Traffic's been taking a dip for everyone in the industry. We're starting to see that gap close a little bit. It's only been running for a few weeks, so it runs through mid-December. So we're tracking it closely. We are comparing it to year over year data, pre-campaign versus during campaign data. We've got a lot of analytics behind it. We're also comparing it to other campaigns we've run to see if people are reacting to this campaign versus other food focused or other campaigns we've done. So yeah, we're tracking it really closely, and then just overall brand awareness. We're 200 and growing fast, but we've barely made a dent in people knowing who we are.
That's awesome. And when you look at 41 states, 200 locations, innovation is very important. You mentioned numerous times that you're very tech focused. You're relying on your partners to make sure that they can kind of help drive the digital conversion and kind of the digital first mindset that you already have. How do you work with the franchisees on these campaigns? Are they aware of them? Do you get their buy-in? Do you use any VOC in that capacity?
I mean, we definitely share the final result with them. I mean, we're unique. We're a unique franchisor in that we provide a ton of support for our franchisees. We we help people every step of the way. When it comes to national advertising, um, we're not necessarily getting their input on that, but we know as a brand what we need to get out there. And so yeah, we shared it with them. Everyone was pretty excited about it.
That's awesome.
The tech that we invest in for the company in general are things that our shop owners tell us they need. So we always try not to have an ivory tower mentality. We want our franchisees to tell us how to make their business better. So if there are certain AI or tech that's going to help them and make things easier or faster or somehow make their business better, that's what we're going to focus on.
Well, I think that that's a very salient point, right? Especially the restaurant owners, they got into it because they have passion about food, right? They have a background in it. They have an opportunity to take part in an amazing franchise like yourself. They want to serve the people. They want to make sure that everything goes well. They don't necessarily want to or have the skill set to manage technology, manage kind of the operational pieces that can be more effectively done with technology, correct?
Right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, we set a general rule a few years ago that any new partner that we bring on that has a tech component has to either have an open API or be integrated with our other partners. Especially if it's something that our franchisees have to, get into and touch themselves, we can't have them going to 10 different systems, and logging into different things and finding different ways to do things on every single system. We need a centralized tech platform. So everything has to be integrated.
You talked a little bit the tech partnerships you have with Olo and Punch and obviously Genre AI. Are you looking at partnerships on the brand to brand side that can potentially add value to the consumer as well? Is that something that you have on your roadmap now or maybe in the future?
And we're focused on it from finance to real estate to every piece of our business. So I don't know exactly what that's going to look like in 2026, but AI and just tech and integrations are a big piece of our focus across the entire company. And so, if we can help our franchisees find better real estate that's faster and easier and more accurate than what we've done in the past, or in inventory system in the
Yeah.
restaurant or whatever it is, tech is helping kind of lead the way in that. But yeah, it has to be able to make things easier or faster or more accurate.
Okay. We talked earlier a little bit about the choice and conversion opportunities in many industries, but also, we talked about hospitality a little bit. It's beyond the restaurant. It's digital channels, the loyalty program, how clean the parking lot may be. Obviously, if that 18-year-old just broke up with her boyfriend and is doing that check-in, that may not be the best experience as well. But when you look at hospitality, how important is that? Kind of not only in the restaurant, but beyond the restaurant? And how can you influence those things that may not be under direct control?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a theme we've been talking about this whole time is that
Yeah.
it's the experience that matters. And we before COVID, we used to do things that we called table touches. So for the dine-in customers, the cashier, when they're walking around the dining room, will stop at the table and say, "How is everything?" Or "Can I refill your drink?" Little things like that, or I see you can't finish your bowl because it's huge. Do you want me to get you a lid? So we used to do those things. Then the pandemic happened. We opened, half of our restaurants since COVID. And so they didn't even know that system of what we used to do. And so a lot of it is just bringing back that human touch. And, what else can we do that's for the people, the 80% that take our food to go? Because we don't have a chance to necessarily do that table touch with them. So we're constantly looking at ways to improve that hospitality and that service, even though 80% of our food goes out the door.
That's awesome. So when you look at kind of going back to genre AI a little bit, you talked about how they matched up to you. You have
Yeah.
that bold, craveable Seattle style teriyaki and fun. Obviously in Denver, which has its own kind of flair as well. How do you match up the brand personality with the creative campaign that can reinforce, but also differentiate you from other fast casual concepts?
Well, in 30 seconds, we had a guy fighting a bear, a guy being thrown out a window, the guy riding the bear at the end, really irreverent, fun, bizarre things. The whole intent of that is to make the ad memorable and give it the energy that we feel like our brand personality has. All the food in the ad is real. That's the only thing that's 100% real. We're not going to fake our food because that kind of defeats the purpose. So, um, I think we accomplished it. Nobody else is doing it.
That's awesome.
And it's definitely a memorable ad. It's more than we could have ever done had we tried to do that type of ad with a real production budget. So yeah, it's a little out there and irreverent and fun and a
I'll have
little
to check that
crazy.
out. That sounds good. I like that.
Mhm.
Irreverence always good. Uh,
Yeah, it's fun.
so, are you any planned promotions with the Broncos or the Avalanche? Just out of curiosity.
I would love to do that.
That'd be
We don't
good.
have anything currently, but
Okay.
we should.
So, looking ahead, what's next? What innovations are you most excited about bringing to life?
Um, I think all this integration that we keep talking about, we have data in so many different places. Like in marketing, we've got our loyalty data, we've got online and third-party sales data. We've got all this data out there, not to mention everything else that throughout the company that's not just marketing. And bringing that all into one space where we can have actually AI help analyze it so that we can help our shop owners um, know what they can do to make their business better. Um, I'm really excited about that because we, again, are 100% franchised. We committed to supporting all of these shops, and all of this data and the integrated data and the AI can help us go down to the local level and tell that shop, these are the three things you need to do to make your shop better. So yeah, it's pulling it all together.
That's awesome. So when you look at kind of the marketing campaigns, the creative strategies, the customer loyalty program, the irreverent style that you've built, what are two or three things that you're most proud of when it comes to your tenure at Teriyaki Madness?
I think ultimately it's making something out of nothing. And not that we had nothing, but when I started, we literally had nothing. We literally had a counter where you could order or a phone where you could take an order. Um, so I'm pretty proud of creating all the systems that we have in place today, through the app and online ordering and all the integrations with third-party delivery, because that actually helped us thrive during COVID because we were already set up. We didn't need to scramble. We just kind of had to crank the volume up and let people know we had it. And so that was a huge turning point for us when other brands were struggling and trying to figure it out. We were already kind of hitting the ground running.
That's awesome. And last question, somewhat self-serving, what can Loyalty360 do to help you and your business with regard to your customer loyalty efforts, your customer loyalty program?
I think keep telling us what trends are sticking, and what tech is coming next. Because a few years ago, unrelated to you guys, but we were excited about drone delivery. We're like, let's do it. Let's be the first one to do drone delivery. And that hasn't totally taken off yet, but that could be next. So I think in your world, it's telling us what trends are sticking, and where we should all be heading. Because even way back in the day, people didn't think third party delivery was going to stick around, and it's definitely stuck around. So.
Absolutely. Well, this has been a very interesting discussion, Jody. Thank you very much. But you're not off the hook yet. We have our wonderful quick fire round of questions. We like to keep these short to a minute or a few phrases, or I get in trouble with Hannah and the content team.
Okay.
But I'm always in trouble, so that'll be status quo. So we'll be good. First off, what loyalty programs do you belong to?
Mostly restaurants and food brands. So Starbucks, Qdoba, Jimmy John's, Jersey Mike's, anywhere my kids like to
Okay.
go. Yeah.
What brand other than your own do you find yourself most loyal to?
Sadly, probably Starbucks. Big user. Yeah.
There you go. What do you do better, manage up or manage down?
I can do both when necessary. I think the piece about that's important with both is just managing expectations, whether it's up or down.
Okay. Well, what's the most challenging project you've ever been a part of?
Wouldn't call it a project, but the pandemic was the most challenging time. But it was also kind of fun because we were really scrappy and we were able to do a lot with little.
Okay, excellent. Are you a just in time kind of person, or are you more of a strategic planner, get things done way early?
I wouldn't say way early, but I'm definitely a planner.
Okay.
I think if you plan ahead, you can get everybody rowing in the right direction. Still have to be nimble to change that plan, but then you can replan. But yeah, I'm a planner.
Excellent. And what did you want to be when you were a kid growing up?
Sounds like a lie, but always marketing. My mom used to teach marketing, and I, as like a 4, 5, 6 year old, used to sit in the class. And then my first job or first class in college, realized like, oh, this is marketing, and so yeah, always wanted to do it.
Well, then having a mother who taught marketing, how did that prepare you for the workforce?
Well, my first job out of college was driving the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile around the
Uh,
country. So I was a hot dogger, and I was
I
doing
did that
all
too way back in the when. I didn't drive it all the country. I just did it in Cincinnati. I wrecked the thing though.
press
So
event.
yeah, was that?
You did it in a press event.
Yeah, there was like local events, like I kind of was in the ASI world, but I did it around Cincinnati. Yeah, the big hot dog. I backed it into something though.
Oh, perfect. You scrape the buns.
Yeah, something like
Yeah,
that.
so I that was all marketing and PR. So I drove the Wienermobile around the country for a year and kind of launched me into the food industry and into marketing.
Excellent. Well, Jody, thank you very much for taking the time to speak with us today. It was a pleasure speaking with you again, getting an update on Teriyaki Madness. Looking forward to hearing more from you and your team throughout the next year.
Awesome. Thanks, Mark.
Absolutely. And thank you everyone for taking the time to listen today. Make sure you join us back every Thursday for a new edition of our Leaders and Customer Loyalty series. Until then, have a wonderful day.